Are we back on? Okay, I hope it's back on. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually the attempt I'm making to push myself to make sure I start getting back into editing, like serious editing. This first project is my wedding video. In case none of you are aware, I just got married. You would have probably watched the video by now. And this is the behind the scenes. What you see here, just to explain to you how I've organized the clips and the audio so far, these are the footages that you see. I've separated them between all the different categories I think makes sense. In a Chinese wedding, we have the morning ceremony. We also have the mass, and that takes place in the chapel, which takes place after the morning ceremonies. All the clips are here, so I put them here. Then you've got the dinner finally, which happened in that evening. So separated those in here. And thanks to my wife's friends, some of them have generously provided us with some nice, beautiful drone shots. So I've categorized them here. I've got clips on my phone. Maybe I'll add them, so might put them here. This I'm going to delete. I added it here, thinking I might put in the footages based on the cards, the SD cards. But this doesn't make sense because I've already separated them according to the time of the day. So that's gone. Easy and Joe are two of my good friends who were my videographers of the day. They provided me with all the footages, and they had some good recordings on the phone, which I think might be useful. So this isn't going to be a typical wedding video. So many things about my wedding is so untypical. You're going to include all sorts of footages because I'm going to make this video into a realistic montage. And what I mean by that is it's not flashy. Professional videographers and photographers of wedding tend to be too pretty. The aesthetics tend to be almost the same throughout, especially over here. It's exotic in a way. Mine was very DIY, and I'm gonna do this to show the realism of everything that we've done, even though it may not explain every single detail that went on that day. So enough chatter. Ben is one of my wife's friends who's given us some of his footages from his Sony camera. If I'm not mistaken, he was using a Sony ZV-E1. The funny thing is, he has the 4K camera. He shot his footages in 4K. Whereas my friends, they were able to use a Sony a7S II. And this doesn't shoot in 4K, this shoots in 1080p. But I'm going to upscale resolution in 4K. So let me know in the comments what you thought about the final video. If you thought that the 1080p footage looked weird when it's scaled up or any artifacts, or did you even know or notice that it was 1080p? First steps were color grading. I want to color grade this right because my idea is I remember enough to know I can organize it this way. 2 groups in the morning. This group, I've assigned it to the group called Morning Outdoor, and then Morning Indoor is where the other activities happens once I enter my wife's home. So I will color grade these 2 so that once I drag them onto the timeline, okay, I'm not going to explain. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So let's go into the color grading. Let's pick a nice shot. This shot of me is a bit blurred, no worries. I'm going to work with what's good about them, and whatever is bad, I'll try to fix them. This project is a real fix it in post kind of project. I'm going to start with color transform. Now, I'm not a pro at this. A lot of this is just winging it and see what comes out of it. Not bad. Let's change it up. What if the output color space was not in? How about airy? I'm just going with my gut to see what looks nice and what doesn't. Let's try black magic. A lot of the color grading comes down to personal preference. Leave your comments if you think what I'm doing is absolutely horrendous in the whole color grading steps, because I would be interested to hear your thoughts if you have any helpful tips as to what works for a Sony camera like the a7S II. Now, everything on the group post clip will be applied instantaneously on everything else here. And this is what we call the base. This is what I call the first step of a group nodes that works as your base. Okay, so now we have the foundation of the colors. It's looking better. Let me just try this. Turn it all off. This is looking too red. I think this could be too red. Let's go back to the node here. I may need to do some research on this later on to find out what's the best settings. This is too overblown. Don't like that. This looks much cleaner. And if I do want this particular scene to stand out a bit more, I can go to the individual dot here. The group post clip. This is called just a clip. And I can add additional changes. Now I could tweak. Let's test this out. This might make the computer lag a bit more. Noise reduction. Best settings, better. Motion 50. Luma. I always start with 10 and 10. Does it make a difference? It lags the computer. That's a big first difference. Okay, one thing to know about DaVinci Resolve is you do need to check if the cache is accumulating very quickly, because it will drive you crazy if you don't put the settings for your render cache to be a lower quality video. It's going to accumulate your space, your hard drive space very fast. So something to note. See that red line there? Yeah, that's called the memory cache. It needs to it's like pre-rendering the file so that you can play back smoothly like here. As long as it's red, it means it hasn't processed the clip and the effects of it on all the frames. Okay, yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. And my wife just came home. Energy gal.